Hi, this is Bill Lindeman again here with the Believers Business Center show with Carrie Sluter. And we had a terrific show last week with Dorla Bonner of the Kalamazoo City Communities Project. And do you want to expound on that? We had quite a show last week.
Yeah, Kalamazoo, is from the city of Kalamazoo.
That's right.
Community projects and community development projects. And with talking about the funds that are available for small businesses who have been existing in our community for internal and external grants and funding that's available, and through the city. So we have those papers available and the contact information available through the Believers Business Center, but you can also still contact Dorla Bonner, City of Kalamazoo, to find out more about those funds that were available. But it's been great finding out more, and that's our mission with the Believers Business Center, is to outreach and connect people. We are Project Connection, on a daily basis. How can you connect to the resources that are available in the community?
Yeah.
So we were real blessed to have her on the show last week, and we encourage anyone who didn't get a chance to see that show, that you can catch it on LinkedIn. I believe it will be on LinkedIn for a while, so people can still catch that show and learn more about it.
It's on the archive.org.
Yeah. It will
Believers
also be on our
Business Center.
website.
Yes.
We'll put it on our website.
Yes.
So it was a great show. She had a lot of great information to share with us. So.
Well, I understand that Dorla was really excited about the Believers Business Center and what you're doing there.
But she's excited about having funds available to fix up the front of the businesses. And when she came to us, she had said that she was looking and researching what projects, what are people doing on the inside that needs a better look on the outside. And she had mentioned that her new punchline was, if you make it attractive on the outside, it will attract. And so their plan actually puts funds into the exterior of the facilities to help them to be more attractive, to attract, and let people know it's more inviting to the outside. So
yes.
Which our facility is, has been struggling with the exterior. We're still working on that, and we have, when people walk in the door, they say, "Wow," but it does have a different appearance from the outside. So we're blessed that there's going to be an opportunity to get funds, and hoping that we can get some of those funds to fix up the exterior of the building, which is the historic trolley station.
Yes.
It was in 1898 was the first history there. Then in 1902, the trolley station, it was the Kalamazoo Streetcar Barn. So we're looking forward to renewing that building and bringing a piece of our past into helping our future. So.
Yes. Well, I was in the part that you're fixing up a few days ago, and it looks great. There's seating in there. There's a karaoke system.
Yeah.
There's very nice-looking tables and chairs. I mean, it's looking really good.
Yeah, we're coming along.
Yeah.
We have an area to do everything we want to do. All the areas are set up. It's not completely what we want it to be or need it to be. To be effective, to reach the full effect, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But it does have the ability to service any area. We can teach classes there with the desks that we have. Our computers need to be upgraded. We don't have the updated technology that we'd like to be able to teach on.
Sure.
But those are all things that with God, all things are possible. And God's working on those things. So we're growing and developing each part. And we do have Saturday nights, Saturday nights we have karaoke for families, and we're open for that. It's a big open space. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of families come in, even the parents, both parents with their children. We have single people come in, and we just have all different types of music and songs, and we encourage people to come and join us for the events that we do.
And this is on Friday night?
Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Saturday nights, yeah.
Okay.
And that is at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So we invite families to come in, and even their children. We're there to help families, and there's not a lot of places in our community for people to go that, to have entertainment without it
Sure.
costing a lot, or, there's bowling, there's movies, there's, in the summertime you have the putt-putt golfs and things like that.
Yeah.
But just to have a place to go, to have family time and playtime where the families can interact with their kids.
Yeah.
And so we're putting together some great programs for the Saturday night family nights down there. So I invite people to come down.
Wonderful. And I understand this June 17th, Monday night at 7 p.m., you're going to have a new kind of meeting
Well, we're
that you're
putting
instituting?
yes, we're putting together a community collaborative network, and we plan to have a soup supper. So one on the at least once to twice or a month or every
Right,
other month.
right.
We haven't really decided, but we do feel that there's a need in the community for a collaboration for community leaders, community people who are working on missions and visions and goals, that we can come together and have a brainstorm meeting or a connection and connecting to one another to see how we can help each other to fulfill those needs within the community as community leaders, the business owners, the nonprofit organizations. A lot of us are struggling with little things, and to be able to have a place where we can, and a time where we can just go on a regular basis to connect with other people who can help us and to work on our agendas together.
Yes.
Instead of being so distant with our missions all being separate and individual, we can team up more and have a collaboration of the businesses and the local agendas to be more successful.
Well, I think the secret of success for any human endeavor is for people to work together in a common purpose and with love and respect for each other. And I think you're doing that, and I see it coming together. Obviously it's not all going to work at the same time. It's coming together.
Yes.
And you put in a lot of hard work, and it's going to pay off. I know that.
Well, a lot of people are putting in a lot of work now. Since the merger with Hope Ranch and Believers
Yes,
Business
yes.
Center, that's brought about a lot of change and growth with the center. Of course, having one person trying to do,
Yeah,
20
yeah.
programs, 20 different agendas,
Sure,
and that was real difficult. And between Vicki and I, we have a really good balance of getting the programs connecting quicker, and so it's been growing really fast.
Yeah, the collaboration is important. It makes it easier on you. It's gonna be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the community collaboration, once again, that's on the 17th
Right.
of
Monday
June,
night.
will be our first one. And from that point, we will determine, based on the group, and get some feedback as to what night would be best to host it. And do we want once a month or bi-monthly? How often we would host those based on the need of the community. But having a soup supper where everyone can have a dinner together and then network and just relax, in a relaxed setting, talk and see how we can help each other.
Yeah.
So that's what that is for. We're finding a need in that area as well as several other needs that we're able to fulfill in our community.
Yeah, I see as more of the building is being finished, I just see more an opportunity. It's looking good. And you've got quite a few people that have been here already, and they're going to tell their friends about it. Sometimes, it's a little difficult at first. You think nothing is happening, but all the work you did in the past is working in the background. And then all of a sudden you'll come in one day and it'll be full of people. And you say, like, wow. But that's because you laid the groundwork.
Actually, the last few weeks, I'm really seeing the dots connecting.
Yes.
And those dots may be people, they may be connections or resources.
Yeah.
They may be a plan and a drawing that we did. But all those pieces are coming together, and it's just dots connecting really fast.
Sure.
That's bringing the whole picture up all at one time.
Yeah,
Which has been a challenge because I felt like a juggler sometimes with the authors, the artists, the ministries, trying to pull all those pieces, connections, and resources and plans together for each part, yet staying focused enough to keep it going. Because there were times I had to check with God and say, God, am I double-minded? I feel like I'm double-minded because I'm bouncing all over.
Sure.
And it took me a long time to really accept that in prayer as
Yes.
well,
Mhm.
to realize that, okay, all those pieces had to come at the same time, or it
Mhm.
wouldn't have been the same vision,
Yeah.
because we all need each other, and that's the
Right,
purpose of the
right.
center, is not to have just another authors group, we don't want to repeat
Uh-huh.
and duplicate or
Mhm.
reinvent the wheel. There's people out there that are doing it right, but there
That's
may
right.
be a gap or a bridge that's needed.
Mhm.
That's what we need, is a place that will create those. So that's what the center's been
Right,
designed to
right,
do, is to
right.
create those
Yeah.
bridges and gaps, fill gaps, and
Mhm.
help the community to be more successful at what we're already doing.
Right.
Having each piece,
Yes.
what is
yes.
missing for those authors, what is missing for the ministries.
Mhm.
They have their place, they have their own place, but do they
Mhm.
have a place where they can step into the community?
Yes.
Some do, some don't.
Mhm.
Well, we wanted to be able to help both. If they do, we can offer this. If they don't, we can offer
Mhm.
facility space or
Yes.
a connection. So, yeah, it took time to plan all that. And the dots
Yeah.
are connecting, and it's all coming together amazingly.
Yeah, I feel it too. I understand you have some biblical references today that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, I always draw from the Word of God.
Mhm.
And we have so many crisis situations going on
Mhm.
in our world and in our community every day.
Yes.
The numbers are just outlandish
Mhm.
for the cost and the things that we're putting in to help programs
Mhm.
and help people, and the millions of dollars that are going out. And there's, for the center to have the opportunity to share with people what it takes to walk out on faith. How few people out there
Mhm.
really know what faith is.
Yes.
How does the Bible describe faith?
Mhm.
And it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen.
Yes.
And what is the difference between faith and believing? They're obviously two different things, because God used both words in
Mhm.
different situations. Well, our believing is faith in action. When we step out
Okay.
and you walk out on that faith, and you trust, you're expecting the result.
Mhm.
And faith is the substance of things hoped for. So you have things will happen to show you that God is still in the midst.
Yes.
To show you that you're on the right track.
Yes. Mhm.
That's the substance of things hoped
Hoped
for.
for.
Those become a substance. For example, when I was working on the center, and at one point I got to where I was really getting tired and thinking, God, did I walk outside of
Mhm.
your will on this? Was it really not of you? From Pierre's standpoint, I'm giving everything.
Sure.
Maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I checked it on that, and
Mhm.
and I asked God to show me if this is not of your will.
Yes.
Show me. And the next day, I had a vision of the lot next door
Uh-huh.
being a part of the center.
Okay.
And so I didn't think any more about it. I
Mhm.
was just wait for God. He'll answer eventually when he's ready. The next morning, or it may have been 2 days, but within just
Mhm.
a couple of days, I pulled into the center, and the house that was there that was obstructing the vision that I saw was gone.
Really?
It was gone.
Wow.
They had come in, dozed it down. It was a vacant, blighted house, and it was gone.
Mhm.
And I just felt like I heard God say, I'm working on the underside.
Yeah.
Stop being concerned.
Mhm.
And that was, to me, okay, those are the signs, miracles, and wonders that he
Yes,
talks about, that
yes.
follow those who believe. If you're looking for God, he will answer you. We have to expect and search out God and
Mhm.
ask him. It says, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open. When you have questions, or people have questions in their daily lives that
Mhm.
need answers, they don't know. How
Yeah.
do we know how to turn to God
Mhm.
and what's available for us? And some of the greatest tools that we have and resources we have is the ability to call on God. He says, call on me and I will answer thee and show thee
Mhm.
many great and mighty things which thou knowest not.
Yeah.
And we don't do that often enough.
Mhm.
To have people who are coming into the center for help, for guidance, for
Mhm.
as assistance, just taking the time to teach them that little thing. It may be a little thing, but how many people really don't realize and mentally ascend to that wow, did I really ask God? Or they just keep praying and praying, asking for something instead of finding out from God. Because if you ask him, he promises that he will answer. And there are times when people can, when I have been in a situation where I'm trying to make a decision and I know, I'm studying the word, I'm searching for the answer, and I'm just confused, don't really know. And one time in particular, it was a big decision that I had to make, and I wasn't sure how to respond to it. And so I asked God in prayer. I prayed and I said, God, show me. I opened my Bible up, and where my eyes landed, I read, and it said, do this now, my child, and save thyself. And below it was my situation that I was making a decision on. All the things that were involved in that situation were below it. To me, that is amazing that we have that type of ability to turn to God. He sent his Son, that whosoever shall call on him, believe on him, shall be saved and shall not perish, but have everlasting life. What is that everlasting life, and what is the more than abundant life? So to me, that is the biggest part of what we're trying to do, is to bring God into a greater reality in the lives of the people. We have too many people struggling. Too many people are drowning. They're losing their homes. They're losing their families. They're broken.
Yes.
And I see people who struggle. They have a look on their face that is stressed and depression. They, instead of going to the Word, they take a pill. They prescribe a pill. Not that the pills are always wrong, but they should be last resort.
Sure.
Sometimes we just need to know who we are and be reminded, and have people around us who are smiling. So one of the things that I was reading, as I was reading this morning, that became prevalent again is where Jesus says, "O faithless generations, how long shall I be with you, and how long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me." When Jesus was healed, he healed so many people. And he was, and they looked at him and they said, "Well, how come the disciples couldn't? How come your disciples couldn't hear?" And because they had gone to this, the Pharisees had gone, the scribes had gone to the disciples and asked them to heal his son, and they couldn't. So he had gone to Jesus and he said, "Why couldn't your disciples do this?" And Jesus answered and said to him, "O you faithless generation, how long must I be with you? Bring him, suffer him to come unto me. Bring him unto me." How long must I be with you? And faithless. The lack of faith in our lives keeps us from going and expecting a result. Jesus made those things available. Later on in that same chapter, that's chapter 9 of Mark. Later on, it says that he then gave this power unto his disciples, that they could go out and cast out demons and things. With that, we are his disciples in today's world. It was passed to them and unto usward. So we have those same abilities today to draw, and we're a faithless generation when it comes to standing on the faith, the evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. And sometimes it's hard when you don't see what's available, or you don't see what you're looking for. You can, you expect miracles. And if we're not expecting them, if we're not searching them out, if we're not asking, how can you receive if you don't ask? If the promise is that ask and you shall receive. If we don't ask, how are we going to receive?
Yes.
So the simple principles of faith, believing, and action, and taking the time to search out, God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me? Sometimes we could just be stuck because we're not going in his direction. We may be there for a learning, but he will pull us through, and he promises to never give us more than we can handle. So we have to tap into that and trust in him. Trust in the Lord, as it says in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths.
Mhm.
If we aren't trusting in him, and sometimes it's hard to trust in someone you don't really know.
Mhm.
If you don't have that relationship with someone. When you just meet a person,
Yeah.
it's hard to trust them.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen them show up on time, you have a person that's working
Yeah.
with you even. How do you trust that person? They have to gain a trust.
Mhm.
Well, if we don't take that kind of time with God to expect him to answer and look and see and expect those, then we're not giving him the chance to prove himself so that we can trust him.
Mhm.
So it's real important for us to make that more prevalent
Yeah.
in our world today, that we learn to have a relationship so that we can learn how to expect from God. He will show up. He will take care of it if we trust and we ask and believe. And numerous times it says that it's your believing. He told the woman with the issue of blood, thy faith has made you whole.
Right.
He didn't say you got good enough, you did enough sacrifices, you did this or you did that. He said your faith made you whole.
Right.
We don't have enough faith, and we walk around a crippled, faithless generation.
That's so true. Faith is so
It's
powerful.
just a shame.
Faith is so powerful.
It's what we have
Yeah.
to turn any situation around just like that.
Yeah.
The person that fights and turns to God and turns to faith will win.
Yeah, because we have to believe
Right.
that we will succeed. It will happen.
Problem is, most of us stay there too long. We need to get more bold to come unto him quickly.
Sure.
He's like, and he says, come unto me quickly, and boldly.
Yeah.
So, and we just don't do that often enough. We struggle with our own battles, and we go back and forth trying to figure it out. Most of us will wait until we've had enough. We've tried everything, and it still isn't working, and we stand back and say, God, I give up. It's all you. It's on
Yeah.
you. And we're in tears, and I've messed it up so bad. Well, all we did was give God permission. We took our hands out of his way,
Sure.
trying to do it our way and praying for him, asking him what to do. What do we do? And so it's really important that we start really retraining our thinking to think more God, calling on Jesus, the Son. He's with us every step of the way. I've shared with many people and get a great reaction when you get into your car, if your brother was riding with you or your mother, and they were riding with you and they get in the car, do you just sit there and ignore them and turn on the radio and act like they're not even there?
Yeah.
Well, Christ is wherever we are.
Right.
We have Christ in us, the hope of glory. And we don't treat him like a person.
It's a very good point.
He was
Sure.
a physical person
Very good point.
who walked this earth, suffered for us. And it says that we have Christ in us, the hope of glory. If Christ is in us, and that is the spiritual connection we have with God,
Yes.
everywhere we walk, he is there, and we ignore him.
Yeah.
We don't put on the armor. When someone brings up a negative and says, well, it sounds like you're coming down with a cold, you're coughing, you're coming down with a cold. No, that's a confession. So bringing that word into our lives and exercising with it to make ourselves stronger, to act on the word as it is. Most of us are calling those things to ourselves. We're cursing ourselves. You just got a cold if you confess it.
Yeah.
According to that word.
Yeah.
You can talk it down because it says, call those things that are not as though they are. And the mouth, out of the mouth, blessings and cursings. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. But that life and death is not just a physical death. It's the death of a curse, something that's spoken.
Yeah.
It's the life of I will succeed, because with God all things are possible. And this may be impossible for me, but with God all things are possible. And quote that scripture, because that's the sword. That is the sword that cuts to the dividing asunder, soul and spirit.
Well, miracles still happen, and they happen
Yes,
every
they
day.
do. Every day.
If you don't believe me, go down Bryant Street, at the end of Bryant Street at Cameron, and you'll see a building, the Tree of Life School. If that isn't a miracle, I don't know what is.
Right.
That came from out of nowhere.
Yes, it did. Yes.
A beautiful school. It's affordable. It's got high standards. It's a Christian school, but it's available to anyone who is serious about, early education. It came out of nowhere, but these are people of faith.
Right.
and they pulled off a miracle. And you can see it with your own eyes.
Uh-huh.
It's a good example of
I
it.
just
Yeah.
received a notice from my sons for the school,
Sure,
and
yeah.
that are going to Benton Harbor to celebrate another Tree of Life school.
Okay,
So,
well, you see, there's
just
another
today,
miracle.
so I believe they're opening another
There's
one.
another miracle.
Yep, I
Yeah.
saw that in the papers today, so I'm gonna question
Well, that's
them
wonderful.
about
Yeah,
that. So I believe
yeah.
they're starting another school
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But they're so needed to get back to that small relationship
Mhm.
community.
sure.
You know, we don't have a relationship. You know, some of the programs that used to be on Little House on the Prairie and,
Yeah,
you know,
mhm.
those type of shows, they showed such heart. But what they showed more than anything was the community coming together.
Yes.
Crisis and challenges, and you know,
Sure,
you
sure.
you didn't get away with treating people bad because there was not enough people there. You
Yeah.
had to remain friendly and do
Yeah.
the right thing. So it makes a difference. We are a large community, but we can still get stronger because with God all things are possible.
Yes. hmm
So we just need to get stronger and bolder and
Yeah.
know who we are. And
Right,
we
right.
have the ability to defeat the enemy.
Yeah,
And we're just walking defeated
yeah,
because we're, you know, faithless generation.
yeah. So, well, fortunately, this is another miracle, the Believers Business Center, and it's a miracle in progress because I can see big things coming from you,
I believe
from us,
God
from
called
all
it.
of us. You know, it's a collaboration.
I believe God called
Yeah.
it to help the community come together,
Yeah,
to have tight collaboration for resources and help center. I really believe that.
Well, this is your
You know.
life's work, and it's you know, it shows. And,
Yeah, it wouldn't have been what I would have chosen, and
Yeah.
that's why I know it was of God. Because
Sure.
I would have never thought I would be able to do it,
sure.
or that
yeah.
I would be the one that He would call.
Sure, yeah. So again, we want to remind people coming up this June 17th on Monday night, you're having a community collaboration meeting of different people in the community.
Yes, at 7
7
p.m.
yeah, yeah.
on the 17th.
Yeah,
Yeah, and another thing too, when I asked God, why me? He never said because you have enough money. He didn't say because you're this wonderful business person.
Sure.
He said because you're strong enough, you're stubborn enough, and you love me enough to stick with it because it's not going to be easy.
sure,
You know,
sure.
and that was what he told me. I said, okay,
yeah,
thanks.
yeah,
Because I'm, you know, bullheaded. I will stick with something. I'm not a quitter. And that was what he said.
Well,
He
that's
said,
it.
You're not a
That's-
quitter.
It has a lot to do
There-
with it,
oh,
having the
boy.
faith and not quitting.
Not quitting because that's your Red Sea.
Yeah.
You know, you stand there at that Red Sea and you expect that miracle.
You know, and when you have the faith and when you keep at it, that's where the yoke is easy and the burden is light. You don't realize it,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't happen all at once. It's just day by day, just a little bit. Some
Right.
days are harder than others, but you know, all in all, if you cooperate with God, it's going to be easy. 'Cause
Right.
that's
Well,
what we were born to do. you know?
anybody could do it if it was so
And
easy.
anybody
You didn't have
can
to
do
stand
it.
Up. If you didn't have to stand up too
Yeah.
and fight for that
Yeah.
right. You know, you
Yeah.
have to stand up and
Mhm.
continue to stand even when all else no matter
Yeah.
what it looks like.
And
You know?
no matter how bad it is, it's still a day at a time.
No matter what it looks like, it's never what it appears because it's
Yeah.
a spiritual battle.
hmm
God can do all things.
Sure.
So,
So, well, we have another great show, and we're looking forward to all your projects coming together, your collaborations, and that's wonderful. So we'll be seeing you next week.
okay, we'll
All right.
see you next week.
God bless you all.